Hello, welcome back. This is week 3, part 5. So in our last video, I forgot to do what we had been practicing before, which is taking a deep breath. So everybody get your feet flat on the floor, relax your shoulders, relax your hands. Close your eyes if you're comfortable. Take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. Deep breath in and out. Okay? Now, are you ready to start English? All right, you see on the board, smart shopper. What do you think that means? Smart shopper. Could it mean someone who knows how to get things at a good price? Maybe. Someone who uses coupons or finds sales. Let's see. Someone who knows, what did we say? How to buy things at a good price? Oh, where to buy things at a good price? Someone who uses coupons. Someone who finds sales. Okay, these are all good examples of a smart shopper. So we are going to read on page 90. If you'll open your books to page 90, we're going to read together a newspaper advice column called The Smart Shopper. Now, do you remember, I think we have read one of these advice columns before in class, but if not, think about what is a newspaper advice column. I'm not sure if they have these anywhere else besides a newspaper, especially today because everything is online. But a newspaper advice column, it's a type of thing where maybe every week someone writes something to the newspaper. Maybe they email or physically mail something they've written to the newspaper asking for advice about a certain topic. Maybe there's a famous one, I cannot remember the name, but a famous advice column about cleaning. Oh, I cannot remember the name. Anyway, so people would write in to the newspaper and they would ask, how do you clean red wine stains out of white carpet? How do you clean Sharpie marker out of the wall? Different things like that. And then the person who is in charge of the column, the advice column, would write back and respond but their answer would be in the newspaper. So that's an advice column. The one that we're going to be reading about is the Smart Shopper. So it seems that people, well, what do you think it's about? I think we will find out when we read, but maybe it's about people who have questions about shopping, and then the person in charge of the advice column responds with the best tips and advice. So, first of all, you see at the top of page 90, there are 2 questions. Number 1, have you ever tried to exchange an item or get a refund? Describe your experience. This is a good question that I would like for you all to either comment on this YouTube video or send it in the WhatsApp group. Maybe send a video of yourself telling us about the experience. I think that would be best. And then in your native country, is it easy or difficult for people to get a refund for something that they purchased? Again, I would love to see a video of each of you explaining, sharing your answers to these 2 questions. It can be one video answering 2 questions, but that would be really fun to hear from everybody. Before we read the advice column, take a look at this red box over here and read it along with me. Sometimes an important word is replaced by a synonym. This makes the reading more interesting. For example, seller and retailer are 2 nouns that have the same meaning. Okay, you remember synonym? Synonym. Everybody say synonym. Good. Okay, so now that we've got that, keep that in mind. Look for synonyms. And now listen and read along as I read the Smart Shopper. And as always, if there are any words that are unfamiliar, go ahead and underline them so that afterwards you can look up the definition, okay? So here we go, the Smart Shopper. Dear Smart Shopper, I'm a jewelry lover and I enjoy shopping online. Unfortunately, I just bought a pair of gold earrings that I don't like. When I tried to return them, I learned that the seller has a no return policy. Don't I have the right to get a refund? Mad Madeline. Dear Mad Madeline, if the merchandise is defective, the seller must return your money or make an exchange. However, if the merchandise was in good condition when you received it, and if the retailer has a no return policy, there is nothing you can do. This is true for store purchases as well as internet purchases. In the future, here are some questions you should ask before you buy anything. Does the seller say satisfaction guaranteed or your money back? Is there a time limit on returns, such as 2 weeks? Who pays the shipping costs on items that are returned? Do you need to return the merchandise in its original package? Is the original receipt required? Does the retailer give a store credit instead of a cash refund? If the retailer has a store in your area, can you return the merchandise to the store instead of shipping it? Next time, find the return policy on the merchant's website and print it, or ask the merchant for the return policy in writing. it's important to get all the facts that you need before you buy. Smart shopper. Okay, what do you think? Did all of that make sense? So one thing I want to point out, you'll see here where it says Mad Madeline, and then down here it says Smart Shopper. The style of an advice column is kind of like a letter back and forth between two people. So it says, Dear Smart Shopper, and then it has the content, but then at the bottom it just says Mad Madeline. So that's kind of like at the end of a letter or at the end of an email, when usually you would sign sincerely or what's another one? Sincerely or best regards, or those are the only two I use. What else do people say? Anyway, so usually they would have, it's called a salutation, where you say kind of like a closing. But in this, they simply chose to put the name with no salutation, and that is acceptable in some cases. The other thing I want to point out, Mad Madeline. One thing that's common for advice columns is to the newspaper editor will change the name of the person who wrote the question, and usually they will add something like an emotion or their name that they change it to. The fake name will have something to do with the content of their question. So in this question, for example, let's say the person's name, their fake name is Madeline now. What is Madeline writing about? It seems like maybe she's mad. So Mad Madeline. It's just a cute, clever way to catch people's attention. That's all. That may not make much sense, but you'll notice that the advice columnist, the person who writes the advice, doesn't use their real name either. They use a pseudonym. This is a good word, pseudonym. Pseudonym. It means like a fake name, which is interesting because it kind of sounds like what other word that we just said earlier. Synonym. Yeah. Onym, I guess, means word. So pseudo means it seems like, but it's not real. Not real word. Pseudonym, fake name. Synonym means like similar word, similar name. Okay, enough of that. Let's go on to the questions. Also, now is a great time to pause if you had any words that you underlined that you needed to look up the definition, okay? So, let's check your understanding. I will do a couple of these, but then maybe you should do the rest on your own. And if you have questions about it, you can message me, email me, call me, anything, and I will help answer. Okay. So, number 1, What is the purpose of the Smart Shopper newspaper column? What is the purpose? I would say the purpose is to give advice about shopping, right? Okay, that's pretty easy. Number 2, what problem does Madeline write about? So it seems like Madeline. What do you think? Pause the video right here and write down what you think the answer would be. Okay. Madeline tried to return earrings but could not get a refund. Okay. Is that what you said? All right, number 3. According to the article, when must a retailer return a customer's money? The key word there is must. It says in the first paragraph of the shopper's response, the Smart Shopper's response, if the merchandise was in good condition, it says if the merchandise is defective, the seller must return your money. So if the merchandise is defective. And do you remember from a few videos ago, a few lessons ago, what defective means? Defective just means not functioning properly. It doesn't work. Something is wrong with it. Okay, do the rest of those questions on your own. And then let's look very briefly at the vocabulary section. So you see, build your vocabulary. Let's read the instructions there. Compound nouns are noun plus noun combinations that have special meanings. Sometimes you can explain compound nouns with adjective clauses. For example, a jewelry lover is a person who loves jewelry. Find compound nouns in the reading that match the meanings. Then write them on the chart. Okay, so this is a little tricky, but I think you can do it. So for example, you look at the chart, it says on the right-hand side, it says meaning, a person who loves jewelry. So you look over at the article and find a compound noun. That means noun plus noun. Find a compound noun that means a person who loves jewelry. You'll see the very beginning, it says jewelry lover. Dear Smart Shopper, I'm a jewelry lover. Do you think that sounds like a person who loves jewelry? there you go. So the answer you write in the compound noun column is jewelry lover, just like they did. Okay, let's look at the next one. A limit that is related to time. Okay, so look at the article and try to find two nouns put together that mean a limit that has to do with time. I'll give you a hint. It's in the second column somewhere. You may not even need to look at the article to know that one. What are two nouns that you combine together to mean a limit that is related to time? It's a time limit. Okay? All right, very good. So your homework is to finish the, let me cover up the answers here. So your homework is to finish these questions and then to finish filling out the chart over here, okay? So find those compound nouns and answer those questions. And have a good night, day. I don't know when you're watching this, but have a good one.